Did you notice the trade that might decide the NFL season? Let's break it down. Mid-season trades have a checkered history in the NFL. For every Marshawn Lynch, there's at least one version of last year's Amari Cooper deal. Trading for a player at the deadline is no guarantee that he'll help you down the stretch. But 2 games in, the Eagles' trade for edge rusher Jaelan Phillips seems to have transformed an already talented group. After sputtering through the first half of the season, Philly's defense once again looks like the unit that won this team a Super Bowl last year, and Phillips has been a big reason why. It's even more remarkable when you consider his story was almost over before it even began. Talent has never been a question for Jaelan Phillips. The former #1 recruit in all of high school football, Phillips initially went to UCLA but suffered such a brutal stretch of injuries that it forced him to medically retire and nearly give up football altogether. He ultimately transferred to Miami, where he had an All-American season in 2020 and built himself into a first-round pick. When healthy, Phillips was a force during his first 2 years with the Dolphins. He tallied 8.5 sacks as a rookie, and during his second season, finished top 10 league-wide in pressures. That year, only Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett had more quick pressures than Jaelan Phillips, who looked like an ascending superstar, until injuries struck yet again. A torn Achilles in 2023 and a torn ACL in 2024 stole nearly a season and a half of Phillips' career, and he entered the final year of his rookie contract as more of a question mark than a player with his ability might suggest, to the point that the rebuilding Dolphins took just a 3rd-round pick in exchange for sending Phillips to Philadelphia. So, just how significant has his impact on the Eagles' defense been? Well, over the past 2 weeks, Phillips leads all defenders with 13 total pressures, with a win rate that ranks top 10 at the position during that stretch. It's a small sample, but what do your eyes tell you? They're telling you this dude is here to wreck shop. Not only is Phillips making his own contributions as a pass rusher, he's improving those around him too. Front fours are more fragile position groups than they might seem at first glance. You can have a talented player or two, maybe even a superstar thrown in there, and it might not matter without the right complementary pieces. Over the first 9 weeks of the season, the Eagles ranked just 22nd in pressure rate when bringing 4, despite the presence of Jalen Carter and underrated counterpart Moro Ojomo. With teams comfortable leaving Philly's edge rushers one-on-one, it was easy to devote extra attention to Carter and slow down a pass rush that had dominated throughout last year's playoffs. Trading for Phillips and getting Nolan Smith back from injury has created a spark that has reignited this Philly pass rush, turning it back into a group that's ruining games for opposing offenses. Sometimes that's meant Phillips swinging plays with his own pass rush production. Take this 4th down stop from the Eagles' win over the Lions in Week 11, with Phillips beating all-pro tackle Penei Sewell around the corner and terrorizing Jared Goff in the pocket. But the extra attention paid to Phillips has also helped unlock the other talented members of Philly's front. Phillips has been chipped on 21% of opponent dropbacks in his first 2 games. Combine that with the double teams Jalen Carter is sure to get, and you're left with a ton of one-on-one opportunities for talented guys like Ojomo and Nolan Smith. It's only when a pass rush is left without a true weak link that you see it turn into more than the sum of its parts. Every wrinkle seems to hit just a little bit harder. The twists get home faster, the simulated pressures are that much more effective, those batted balls start happening more and more. You feel them over the course of the game. And that's where the Eagles have been recently. Philly's pressure rate has jumped nearly 10 percentage points with Phillips over the last 2 weeks, landing in the top 5 league-wide on non-blitzes. But if his contributions as a pass rusher have been clear to see, then what about his work as a run defender? That's something that could prove even more valuable to this team. Coming into the season, the Eagles attempted to replace departed free agent Josh Sweat with a combination of in-house draft picks and cheap free agents, a Moneyball-esque replace him in the aggregate approach. The problem with that approach is despite all those players possessing adequate length on the edge, they were all kind of small. Guys like Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari aren't built like stout run defenders, and it was easy to see the effect it was having on the Eagles' ability to set the edge. It was partially why Philly was so intent on adding a player like Za'Darius Smith before he surprisingly retired mid-season. Ultimately, adding Phillips has given Philly the big-bodied edge player they've needed since the season began. At 6'5" and 266 pounds, Phillips is a mismatch for opposing tight ends, and even poses a problem for quality offensive tackles. Look at him setting the edge here and forcing the ball back inside. The impact Phillips has had on the run defense has been clear. Through 9 weeks, the Eagles ranked bottom 5 in run defense success rate. Over the past 2 games, they've been above average in success rate and ranked top 5 in EPA per carry allowed. It's still early, but it sure looks like Philly's swing for Phillips has been a home run. When healthy, he's always been a player with the type of gear that could change his season. After arriving in Philadelphia, Phillips said the trade was the greatest thing to ever happen to him, and it's not hard to see why. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this one on the NFL's newest elite pass rusher. Let me know what you'd like to cover in future episodes in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss a beat.